We're on our way to the second game of the satellite series for the WPT. First game, like I said, it took second place. Played pretty well first game. Didn't run particularly well in all-ins. I lost 5 out of 6 all-ins and took second, so ran well other than that, but to make hands and hands that didn't go to all-ins, but played well overall. Hopefully we can build off of that tonight. Things start to change a little bit with the second game because, you know, some guys that finish low are going to start in the first game will start taking more chances. Guys that finished high will start protecting their chips. Well, except the guy that came in first, Frank. He never really protects his chips. But so yeah, ideally we want to finish in the top 5 in the second game, and all the people who made the final table to kind of swap would be ideal. So a lot of the shouldn't say better, but a lot of good players finished low in the first game. So you got to think that's going to turn around. There's a lot of good players overall in the league, but some of the top players had poor finishes in the first game. So you got to think that's going to switch. Really, a lot of it kind of comes down to table draw. I got a pretty good table last week to start, and then some of the big guns were all at the other table, kind of beating up on each other. So yeah, hopefully we can, the first goal is to make the final table. Final table, you're only really guaranteeing yourself about 10 points. So I have 64 now in second place. 10 isn't great because it still puts me behind first. Frank is in first with 75. Say I only get 10 points and he gets another top 3, it's going to be pretty tough to dig out of that hole. So this is pretty key. There's only 3 games in the whole series. All right, hopefully we can run well and play well again. Unfortunately, a little tired today. Didn't sleep that well last night, but we're going to get in there and get after it. So I didn't update last night right after because I was so tired. It was like 2:30 a.m. or so when the game ended. I ended up winning. So we are in first place right now in points. We have 139 points. I think the next closest has like 90. So we have a pretty big lead heading into the last game. It's definitely not locked up yet, but kind of in the driver's seat. The final table. I was one of the short stacks going into the final table. I think I had 40K going into the final table. I was pretty card dead like at the initial table. I think I had a bad spot at the table. I got a lot of sticky players to my left, so it was kind of tough, and it wasn't getting cards. Won one nice pot with aces where I 3-bet pre, got called by the button big stack, and then bet flop and turn, and I checked the river just to see if he would bluff, or I also wasn't sure if he had anything that he could call down with an all-in. I think it would have been like a 20K shove or 18K shove, something like that. I don't think he would have. I think there were a pair of 5s on the board with to give me aces up. He had 8s and 7s, but he was counterfeited by the 5s. So yeah, we got to the final table, and I was card dead at first and just kind of trying to ladder. That was kind of the plan at first, to at least outfinish Frank, who was ahead of me, and he was short too. Frank ended up, it was a double elimination right before the final table, so we were at 9 to go to the final table. Usually it's 10. Frank went out 9th. And then I started to kind of catch some cards and open up a little bit. Took out Kevin, ace-king against king-7. That got me going, and then Hector. And then I kind of felt like I slow-rolled him a little, but it was, for most of my chips, I had king-8 suited on 8-3 deuce. He had 8-4 suited. He called a raise from the small blind. I thought he'd be a little stronger there. I was thinking like hand like ace-8, he's probably supposed to jam pre, but he would flat that. I think he might flat that hand. So he could have ace-8. He could, 2 pairs are unlikely. Set, I don't know if he jams a set. He probably would want to get more value. So, and 9s, he probably jams pre. So it's probably a pretty easy call there. I just wanted to think it through for a second, and it kind of looked like I slow rolled a bit. Then I took out Tony fourth, which was good, which was kind of important because he has a lot of points too. If he finished a little higher, he's had two like top 6, I think, finishes, or top 7. I think he has like a 7th and a 4th, so he's up there. I had a gutter, a flush draw, and an over. I hit the queen 7 of spades, and I hit the queen on the turn to put me ahead. It was 8-6-4 flop. He had king 8. So I hit the queen. I pretty much locked up the hand. He had to hit a non-spade king or 8 on the river. I hit the spade. So yeah, so that put me into a good spot, and then we were 3-handed, I think, at that point. Yeah, 3-handed, me, Jeff, and Travis. Jeff got bad beat kind of to go out third. Queens against Travis's ace-jack suited. Travis flops an ace. We're heads up. And Travis has me covered by a little bit going in heads up. Yeah, the heads up lasted for a bit. Like I got him all in. Well, first the major hand was I had deuce 4 suited on the button. I raise. He 3-bets me with 5s. The flop's 8, 4 deuce. So I flop bottom 2, get it all in. And I turn a full house, I think, deuce on the turn. So then I have commanding lead at that point. He gets a couple doubles through, I think, with like... I had like 2 broadways against his 2 like medium cards a couple times, middle cards. And he hit one of his cards. Doubles. And then the final hand, I have pocket 5s. He has king 6 off. We get it all in pre, and I flop a 5, and that was it. So played well. Pretty tired now. Going to play another tournament. So no rest for the weary. So the next game is in 2 weeks. So that'll be the final game. I have like I said, a 49-point lead on second. So I think if I finish 6th, I pretty much lock it up. So if I finish anywhere lower than that, one of those other guys can, if I finish 6th or 7th, I believe, I have to look at the numbers. I think I have it locked. Something like that. I have to finish high. But if I end up finishing like 10th or 11th, and one of those guys is like 1st or 2nd, or even 3rd, they could still win. I think they might need 1st or 2nd, though. Like one of those guys. And me to... I don't know. I have to look at the numbers, but so should be close. But yeah, looking forward to it. It would be pretty crushing to blow the lead at this point. Because it's only 1 seat. But I'm not going to think like that. I'm going to think positive. I'm just going to play my game. You know, I'll obviously probably have to play a little tighter than usual, my ranges. Because people that kind of have nothing to lose are probably going to be coming after me because they know I'm going to be playing really tight. So, like if I get to the final table, that locks up an extra 13 points or 10 points, I think. So that puts me at I'm at 139 right now. Yeah, so that would put me at 149. Frank is 90. 59. So yeah, so Frank got second. I don't know. I'm not going to worry about it. Today's the day. It's game 3 of that WPT Satellite League that my friend Greg is running. We are, if you look at the standings here, we are in first place. We have 139 points. Second has 90. So there's basically 4 guys behind me that have a chance of winning, besides me, obviously. I'm pretty much in charge of my own destiny. If I finish 6th, I pretty much lock everything up. Based on each player, still has a chance, I need to finish in a certain spot to make it mathematically eliminated. So it drastically changes the strategy. I have to play pretty tight. Probably going to play pretty ABC. pick on players probably that I know aren't going to give as much resistance as opposed to players that I know are going to fight back and put me in tough spots. I'd rather probably play chip up with small pots. I don't need all the chips. I just need to stay alive pretty much. So, and then if the players involved, the players that have a shot go out early, that makes it even easier. If one of them or two of them get a big stack early, then it kind of puts the pressure on. But pretty much the other players have to either come first or second. The guy that's right behind me, there's 17-player tournament, as long as I finish 15th, he needs second or better. So 15th is a lock, and then I think I need 8th for him to have to win. If I don't get 8th, if I get worse than 8th, then he could finish second and still win. So he's a good player, so we're kind of hoping he runs poorly today and has an early exit. The other players involved, there's some good ones, but he's definitely the biggest threat, as he's the closest and probably the best player left out of the 4 that have a shot below me. So yeah, hopefully we can lock this up. You know, it's for the $10,400 seat WPT at the Wynn in Las Vegas. Big tournament. It's a $40 million guarantee. I can I'm not going to get into the details of what I'm going to do with the money yet until I don't want to jinx anything. So definitely need to just play well today. And I don't know. I feel like I'm going to be doing a lot of folding today. Pretty much have to. I might have to incorporate some stalling as well. Unfortunately, I don't like to stall, but especially when we get down to like short-handed at the 2 tables, and you know you're getting eaten up by the blinds, so I'm gonna have to lessen the amount of hands, especially with how tight I have to play right now. But so we're in good position, you know, as long as things have to go pretty perfectly for the other players to really win. So we're in pretty good position today, but anything could really happen. So hopefully the poker gods are on our side, and we will update you later on how it goes today. We did it. Oh my God, that was stressful. That was probably the most stressful 5 or 6 hours of poker. Well, I only played for about 3 hours. So it was just like a crazy, I had to play tight based on, like super tight, like based on the situation. The good part was Frank, who was second, he went out first. He was the first player out. One player didn't show up, which kind of like, it was just like an awkward dynamic. So me, Frank, and then Tony, who was like one of the top, he was like fourth coming in with the points. He was at my table, and Frank was at my table. And Frank's a pretty wild player. Like, not wild, but he's aggressive. He knows when to push. And he basically said, I need Rob out right away. So the first hand I raised, he just jams on me $30K. So I said, he basically told me I'm never seeing a flop. And so I pretty much had to change my strategy and play super tight. I was like limping big hands, just calling, flatting when people raised with big hands, like ace, king, stuff like that. Even like, I think queens at one point. I had to ladder up. Not ladder up, but I needed a couple points to force people to have to win. So I didn't want to let them be able to get second and beat me. So there was one player, Hector, who was at 82, so I needed to get up to 13th to force him to win. And he had a stack early. Him and Tony both had chips. He ended up going out, I think, 9th or 10th. So he went out early in the final table. So I went out 13th, which put me at 139 plus 8, 147 points, I think. So I ended up with 147 points. Tony and Hector were still alive. Hector goes out, so it's just up to Tony. Tony has to win to beat me. Gets down to short-handed. He's the chip leader. Three-handed, he's the chip leader. He probably has, at one point, maybe 300K, and the other two have like 100, something like that. he ended up losing a couple all-ins, and then there was one key pot with my friend Joe where Tony had open-ended and Joe had top pair with a good kicker, and Tony lost like a lot of his chips in that pot. Guy goes out third, Rob goes out third, and then they're heads up, and Joe had like a, I would say 4-1 lead heads up, and then it didn't last too long. It was over, and I won. I felt bad. Tony came so close. He's a really nice guy. So I said, I'll give him a 5% free roll. Maybe he'll end up going 2, or maybe he'll win the last chance, and maybe we could do a swap or something like that, or a free roll. I'd give him a free roll, whatever. He's a really good guy, and he deserved it just as much as I did. So we'll be going to Vegas. I'm probably going to sell out some action. Not going to take my full self. I'll probably try a couple, like they have like milestone satellites at the WPT. So milestone satellite, basically they guarantee a certain amount of seats, and instead of outlasting people, you have to get to a certain chip stack, and then they take your chips out of play. So say you start with 30K, you have to get to 100. You get to 100K, they take your chips out. I played a couple milestone satellites in California. Did not go well. I had a seat pretty much locked, and the guy hit a 2-outer on the turn. So we're going to go out there. We'll probably sell to people from the league, I would guess. But probably sell, I don't know. I have to think about it. But there's a lot of other tournaments I could play too. So there's some mixed tournaments. I'll probably go out for at least a week, I would say. But we have Cherokee coming up right after Thanksgiving in a couple weeks. So looking forward to it. 2 big series is back-to-back with Cherokee and then the WPT. So hopefully get that first big score, be nice. We've been really working hard. We've been really putting in a lot of work, and just nonstop poker, and I feel like I'm due. Did not play my best today. I was just kind of a victim of the circumstances, but I think I am ready though. I don't know. The one thing I guess today was I wish I was more in control of my own destiny. So once it was just a tough dynamic. I needed 13th to make Hector have to win, and then I had no chips at that point. So I really probably should have played more aggressively. Once Frank got out, and tried to get to 9th. So if I got to 9th, Tony would have been locked out, and I wouldn't have to worry about him. And then it came down to me having to sweat him losing pretty much. Kind of sucked. It was very stressful. But we got it. We got it done. We will, got to put in some time now, though. Definitely got to do some studying in the next couple weeks, next month. Work slows up a bit, so poker is going to be the focus. Getting mentally right to losing, hopefully dropping some weight and getting in the gym more. Getting better sleep too. I'm tired right now. I didn't sleep great last night. I think I was a little nervous about today. A little, not nervous, but anxious, I guess. But yeah, we got it done. All right, guys. Until next time.